Hi, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us from Global Voice Network, globalvoiceradio.net. And this is another Discoveries in Health Dr. Truman Burst of He's waving. I see him. Dr. Truman, welcome to the show. How are you this beautiful Thursday, October 6th?
Yes, yes, Brother Paul, I am blessed. I know that you're blessed. I know everyone over on Dialpad meetings is blessed. And everyone over on the YouTube and Jitsi and the other 18 channels that we're on as well. I know that we're all blessed. We just need to receive all the time in Jesus Christ's name. And Paul, let's start this with an opening prayer, okay?
It's like a plan. Good
Okay.
deal.
And starting this with an opening prayer. Okay. I got Paul's okay. We're good to go. Uh, and where we need to start here is in the Bible with the prayer in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior, Yeshua. Yeshua is the Hebrew name for our Savior. And we praise, worship, and thank the Most High God as we read scripture from the King James Version of the Bible. And we're looking at Genesis 1:29. People are always asking me about what should I eat? What should I eat? What should I eat? Here it is in the beginning. It gave us the food that we should eat. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life. I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything he had made. And behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. In Jesus Christ's name, so be it. We receive. Amen. And this is Bishop Dr. Truman Burst from Good Shepherd Ministries. And this is Discoveries in Health. Every Thursday, we have a class here. We're not selling anything. We're not prescribing. We're not diagnosing. We're not promising cures. We're having an herbal class here, an herbal class where we teach all about what science knows about natural remedies. What do they know about this herb and that herb? And what do they know about cancer and diabetes? We're not diagnosing, prescribing, but we as human beings have the right to address these issues and talk about these subjects and not be accused of diagnosing and prescribing. Uh, uh, that's not what's happening here. So just want to make sure anyone wants to censor this broadcast because we're talking about comforting people with natural remedies. We are not diagnosing, prescribing, and we're not selling products. And I just want to make it crystal clear. So that being said, let's My telephone number is 503 362 5899. My email address is Truman at Herbal Health Review. We can open up the microphones over there in the dial pad meetings room, and a hand that is coming up over in that direction. So so in a moment, folks, a dial pad. I'm going to take in hands that come up over in dial pad, or anybody who unmutes their microphone by pressing the star key 2 times on dial pad. Then I'll be right back to you. Let's get over here and let's talk with um, tell me what it is you'd like to talk about, please.
Hello.
Yes,
Is that
that's for you.
Can you give me
Okay.
some information on the defibrillator, heart defibrillator?
You're talking about you're talking about refibrillation or fibrillation of the heart. Is that right? Fibrillation of the heart.
Well, the defibrillator that they put in.
The defibrillator that is put in that is to stop the heart from its. Yes, it's about that. Is there anything else you would like to talk about?
Well, reishi mushrooms.
Reishi mushrooms.
Mr. Mann is going to tell me they're good for something.
Oh yeah, all these great mushrooms, reishi, maitake, reishi, shiitake, lion's mane. They started out with them as a 6 or 7 mushroom herbal tincture extract, all the mushrooms put together. Really, really different than all the other tinctures, all the other medicines that I've made out of herbs to bring out all their constituents, because they have medicinal values. They're not drugs. The pharmaceutical industry would love to call them drugs, so they could charge you $1 million for each one. Or so much that you can't afford them, just like they do the pharmaceutical drugs. They're overpriced. So I'm glad that they don't have their hands on, or they're not interested in the herbs. But yes, reishi has all these wonderful natural medicines and nutrients in them, and all of the herbs and all the foods are loaded with natural medicine. Food should be your medicine, and your medicine should be your food. So yes, okay. We're going to talk about that. I see that may have a question over in or a topic that we should talk about over in the dial pad meeting room. And go ahead. What is that question or topic over in dial pad meeting room? Go ahead. I don't hear anything. Why don't I hear anything? Let's make sure that this is plugged in, turned on. Okay, try again. I hear you now.
They know that. They don't speak anymore. They know the chairman of the government.
All right, let's go ahead and okay. All right, I see we got a problem over here, and I got to go this, and there we go. There we go. There it goes. Okay. We had a now the person who had a question, a comment, or a suggestion in the dial pad room, please unmute your microphone. Microphones open in the room at the same time. I don't see any. I don't see anybody unmuting their microphone in the dial pad in the dial pad meeting room. So that's okay. Let's. And so that's okay. Let's talk about. We want to learn about defibrillators, huh? We want to learn about defibrillators.
Angela has her hand up.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You got your hand up.
Your question was first.
Go ahead, Angela. Angela, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought you were answering her question first.
Okay, but
You answered without paying attention.
I'm ready for your question, Angela.
Okay, new season, and we go into, the different things that can occur, cold, flu season, and so forth, and preventative things, that we can do.
Yes.
And also, I have to go back to that make lifestyle changes diet. You left off with D, to get to fulvic acid. Yeah. So the diet is so important. And like I said, I tried it on myself. And you have to stick with it, because when your body, like you said, Dr. Truman, is weaker, like scripture said, you have to have, herbs, seasonal things.
Okay, we're going to talk about seasonal things, and you hitting the nail on the head, Angela, because October is the beginning of the time when you're supposed to get out your vitamin D and take 50 IUs for 15 days at the beginning of October. It's not too late. It's still the beginning of October. Anyone and everyone should take a booster dose of vitamin D, because that's when the sun goes away. That's when you don't get enough vitamin D. And everybody is vitamin D deficient. And hardly anybody's getting enough sun even when the sun is out. And then it gets worse in October, because then the sun goes away and you don't get any sun. Most people don't see the sun for a few months or more. And they're vitamin D deficient, because the statistics say that 90% of the population is vitamin D deficient. That's sunshine, and we're not getting enough. Well, and then when you get enough, like that 50,000 at the beginning of October of vitamin D, for that's 50,000 once a day, and you can get it in drops, and then it's organic, and it's not in a capsule, in a gelatin capsule, because a lot of people don't want a gelatin capsule. And the only place I know where you can get the drops is Health and Herbs. They have it, and it's vitamin D, and it's the drops, and you're going to take 50 drops one time a day for 15 days at the beginning of our 10 drops, which is 10,000. And spring, that's when your immune system is challenged again with all of the changing pollens and everything that most people seem to be avoiding. That's why there's a vitamin D deficiency. And so then you do it again. every spring. 50,000 for 15 days at the beginning of spring. When everybody starts to get their allergies, you're taking your vitamin D and getting a big dose of that. And when you read the research on vitamin D, and you're doing that for 15 days at the beginning of spring and fall, and then all the other times you're taking 10,000 a day every day. And if your immune system is compromised, you might just do it again. Maybe you go 2 or 3 months and all of a sudden, you've got an infection or a respiratory problem, because vitamin D even helps people. The studies say that vitamin D is comforting and helping people to be stronger that have COPD. So then there's very few things you can do for COPD. So it's good to know what we can do with vitamin D. There's so many things. The study also says that vitamin D slashes the risk of cancer by 77%. Now, that's significant. Everybody should know about vitamin D and be taking plenty of it, and taking especially seasonal in October, and again around March, April, beginning of spring. So that's seasonal. And then but that make lifestyle changes, that system, that's year round. Energy, super clarity. You're able to live beyond your years and do things beyond your years that other people aren't able to enjoy, because their health is declining. Because when you hit your 60s, 70s, 80s, then your health is declining. You're getting older. You're getting ready to leave. But it doesn't mean that you have to be ill. It means you have to pay more attention to your Make Lifestyle Changes diet system that's on that website, herbalhealthreview.com. And get into it. Because why be a victim of the fact that our water is, we got poisoned water. Hardly anybody can drink the water. You can't drink the tap water. Everybody's drinking bottled water because they know the water is bad. So the water is bad, the air is bad, the food is bad, and we're overdrugged. We're taking way too many drugs. The average person is taking over 18 prescriptions. What's wrong with this picture, folks? We gotta get back to a simple diet of real food, real nourishment. We've got all this bad food, bad air, bad food, bad everything, and we're trying to exist in this. Then we're all stressed out because the finances are a total mess for most people. They've gone through the pandemic and they've gone through all of these things, and it's been horrific. And we've lost so many people have been disadvantaged in so many ways. We've been weakened greatly. We need to stand up and do what we can do, not buy into a system that's got poison air, poison food. What? Wait a minute. We got to say, wait a minute here. Let's make sure we are in a high nutrition diet, that we're drinking the kinds of liquids that strengthen us, that we're eating the kind of foods that our body wants, not what our brain wants. It's not if it looks good, tastes good. It's if it is good. So that's a little about, and and she mentioned fulvic acid. Let's get over the site, herbalhealthreview.com, and let's just find and open here. And if I can get back to it, I don't know if I can. No. Is that it? No, it's this one. One more. This is what I want. I had this open all the time. Let's look at what's going on here. We have a massive government initiative to address hunger and diet related disease. This is forming. And why does it ignore some of the most obvious solutions? Well, since we have a government initiative to address hunger, why does it ignore some of the most obvious solutions? What are they? The Biden administration is laying out its plan to end hunger, increase healthy eating, and combat diet-related disease, food, improving nutrition, and more. What stuck out to Alliance for Natural Health in this recent report that's only days old is what was missing, which was an inclusion of dietary supplements anywhere in the plan. There's no dietary supplements in the plan to end hunger and increase healthy eating, and there's no diet supplements. Any coherent and comprehensive approach to reducing diet-related disease must include sensible advice on supplements that we know can help prevent and treat chronic diseases. Yet, what Alliance for Natural Health sees is, and what I see too, the government now supplements of no longer be an excuse. Once again, pharma profits are prioritized over public health. Look no further for evidence of this last point, and only mention of dietary supplements in the Biden administration's plan under the marketing of unhealthy food and beverages. That discusses sugary drinks, fast food, and candy. The report says, out of the blue, the FTC law enforcement actions to prevent deceptive advertising of foods and dietary supplements might be targeted to youth. Why? With fast food, soda, and candy. What is the government thinking? Trying to address the chronic disease epidemic without educating Americans about how dietary supplements can help is like fighting with one arm tied behind your back. By now, the scientific evidence health reported recently on research describing the incredible health benefits that can be achieved if certain pop took targeted supplements. For example, a review of medical literature shows that supplementing with preventative levels of fish oil leads to a risk reduction of 10% for coronary artery disease, CAD. And if people at risk for CAD events sup with fish oil, the report estimates that 174,811 CAD events could be avoided. The clinical literature indicates that relative risk reduction of a CAD event with the use of magnesium supplements is 5.34%. That means that magnesium supplements, which is another thing that everybody's deficient in, almost everybody, but this 5.34%, this means that magnesium supplementation could prevent 93,349 CAD. That's right. Coronary artery diseases. It's the risk for CAD events by 15.7%, meaning an estimated 274,933 coronary artery events could be avoided. Supplementing with vitamin D and calcium at preventative levels was found to reduce the risk of osteoporotic fractures by 14%, meaning we could go on, but there isn't time or space enough to describe all the supplements that that can help with this disease. This report goes deeper, so I'll share with you, and then we're going to bring Edward Tube off. Is that according to the government's own figures, millions of Americans are deficient in a variety of key nutrients. Research shows that micronutrient inadequacies may impact long-term health, increasing risk for disease like cancer, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and COVID. So the infuriating fact here is that not only does the government ignore these incredible benefits, it actively suppresses the dissemination of this information during the pandemic. as the FDA and the FTC launched a massive censorship targeting doctors and clinics that informed the public about natural medicines that could plausibly help. Perhaps locked health risk factors for heart disease, the leading cause of death, both worldwide. American adults have high blood pressure. In our coverage at the time, we detailed the compelling scientific evidence supporting magnesium's benefits to heart health. Yet, according to the FDA, the evidence, and I think talking over the top of me, and I need to mute that person wherever they are. Okay, thank you. I only have a couple of more paragraphs. I just want to finish this thought rather than break it up into pieces where people would lose the meaning of what I'm trying to, let people know about. It's very easy to chop an article or information in half and walk away from it, but I don't like to do. Saying here then is that perhaps even more egregiously, the FDA recently blocked the qualified health came about magnesium. In the coverage, in the Alliance for Natural Health's coverage at the time, they detailed the compelling scientific evidence supporting magnesium's benefit. FDA, the evidence is inconsistent, and inconclusive. And why does the government ignore the obvious benefits of supplements? To continue with the example and to conclude, here's an example of magnesium and hypertension. It may be relevant to state that the global market for antihypertensive drugs will grow to nearly $26.3 billion. Follow the money, everybody. $26.3 million. That's what high blood pressure is costing everybody. And the XFD sees the drug industry as its client and represents its interests. This means that the government sees supplements as an adversary threatening the profits of its big pharma benefactors.
Sure does.
And until we address this broken system, and it just crashed. Let me get back out of here. And until we address this, continue to pay skyrocketing costs for healthcare that is expensive, dangerous, and often doesn't work. We need to speak with one powerful voice to the government if they are serious about fighting chronic disease and include advice to stay healthy. So, these are things that we need to address and take responsibility for, because we've given the responsibility to people who aren't taking any responsibility for it. That's it. Edward, go ahead.
Well, not only don't they take responsibility, from the beginning, all five food groups in the same meal, in the same day, and all this stuff. So from the beginning, we've all been told a fallacy. And supplementation is one aspect, and as you've spoken of, the food that we eat, basically, we have control over two things in this life. We don't have control over the politics. Not really. We don't have control over the weather. Not us. Maybe someone. does, but not us. But we have control over what goes in and out of the temple. Why do they call the body a temple? Because it houses the highest, holiest experience of this life, the being, the I am, the truth. And when you defile the temple by not knowing what it is that's in what you put in your body, you will pay, we will all pay the consequences. When I see people after 20 years still not reading labels in the supermarket, in the peanut butter aisle, you can just stand there and watch people come up, and they're getting, in most supermarkets, they're getting all hydrogenated oils in their peanut butters, and you expect to live in good health when you use products that have preservatives in them. That in the 1800s, I don't remember the name of the man, but he said he went to the president at the turn of the century, and he said, you got to tell these giant manufacturers to stop putting preservatives in the food, because it not only kills all the bacteria, but it kills everyone. When you use sodium benzoate that's in all your in your sodas, and you're using it, Dr. Freebot taught me while he was here that it's the hardest of all the preservatives to get out of your body when you take it in. Getting back to the reason that supplements are a no, basically. They do not want you to be able to take more than 50 milligrams of vitamin C. Never mind 50,000 milligrams or units, of vitamin D3. No. Codex Alimentarius. We ought to bring that up sometime and look at it and tell people what it says. They're looking to change the rules to lock all people and manufacturers out of being able to utilize the supplements that you're speaking of, so that no one has access. And you're right on that they consider the entire supplement business, which is growing in leaps and bounds and has been into the trillions, a tremendous threat. They only control 15% of the pharmaceuticals. Control 15%. They want the rest of the world. And the rest of the world is for the taking. Since the 1800s, an organization everyone might have heard of called the AMA, the American Medical Association, they set out to destroy all homeopathic colleges. And by 1952, they destroyed the last of 58 homeopathic colleges. And then they went on to, in 1975, I have the whistleblower files from Albuquerque to the AMA to bring in the federal government agencies into a private little club. Only they couldn't join because they're federal agencies, and they used all four of them, the FDA office, the IRS, and Firearms and Tobacco, and they gave them targets to a Albuquerque Tribune in the newspaper in 1975. Doyle, what they were doing in the report, but they were destroying all chiropractors and all naturopaths, until finally an internationally structured organization that is not under any nation, the way our corporations should be filed in this country, and they have no control over them. Therefore, you cannot penetrate them and stop them from any agenda that they have. And their agenda is not to teach their doctors and personnel anything about nutrition. As a matter of fact, I have doctors quoted saying that their wives know more about nutrition than they do because they never taught more than 8 to 20 hours in 8 years of schooling on nutrition. And they admitted they were totally ignorant on nutrition. And why would you go to someone that has no longevity out of all the professions? They have the second highest rate of suicide, and they admit they can't cure their own families. 4 out of 5 oncologists would never give chemotherapy or radiation to their own families. And that's them saying so. So they use Codex Alimentarius to limit our use in the future of more than 50 milligrams of vitamin C. I don't know about you, but I use 10,000 a day, slowly all day long. And when it comes to vitamin D3, when a person's got pneumonia, not only do they take the magnesium ozone in larger doses and it knocks it out, they cough it up the next day. At least I do. Every time I take 30 or 40 capsules, that all that mucus come up out of my lungs right away the next day. And if anything's left, I do it again. But I also take 30,000 milligram units of vitamin D3 with K2 and MK4. And I'll tell you what, that along with 30,000 milligrams of vitamin C slowly added to your body all day and change it to liquid so it doesn't have to work hard. And that's a good beginning. Some red clover, I make tea out of it, and it knocks it out immediately. And everybody else is taking antibiotics. And I warn them, if you take any antibiotics,
Edward, we're not here to treat, diagnose, prevent, or cure any disease. We're not talking about specific dosages, and we're not talking about anything but herbs. We're not talking about anything but the things that are available on betterhealthherbs.com. Herbal Health Review. We're not talking about any dosages.
I wasn't going to talk about dosages.
You were already talking about dosages. You're talking about 30,000 IUs of this and 10,000 milligrams of that.
Well, that's what Dr. Truman said. Excuse me. Dr. Truman said 50,000. And I'm saying I'm already, when I get a cold or anything, if I ever do, I'm upping it to 30,000 automatically. I didn't even know you could use 50,000 IUs. I never heard that before, and I like the idea that it's safe to use it at that amount.
Edward, you've been talking.
And not only that, but when you...
Edward, you've been talking for 15 minutes straight. If you're going to make a point, kindly make it so we can move on.
I was making points all the way along. I made a lot of points. And anyway, I use the mag ozone, which is magnesium with ozone, the most amount of ozone ever bonded to magnesium. And since all my cells, trillions of them, are begging for magnesium, and so is everyone else, and they can check their magnesium deficient. The more dis-ease they have in their body, especially cancer patients, they need to check for their vitamin C levels and their magnesium levels, and they're going to find out they're seriously deficient, or they wouldn't have cancer in the first place. So when I use the magnesium with the ozone bonded to it, it fixes me every time and knocks it out anything that might be wrong in my lungs.
Okay, that's big. And with that being said, with that being said, can we move over now and answer that question about defibrillators for Sister Charissa? She asked.
That's what I use it for, by the way. And the professor, when she came to me with fibrillation problems, electric shocks, and she was suffering tremendously, I suggested that she go and get some magnesium with ozone bonded to it. She believed me and took me at my word, and I can probably get her to the call, and she'll tell you it was the one thing that stopped it all.
Okay, that's good to know.
The mag
This
ozone.
question was not about. Yeah, that's good to know. But the question wasn't about fibrillation of the heart. The question was about an implantable cardioverter defibrillator, an ICD, which is a small battery-powered device. And she wanted to know the risks and the benefits. And the risks and the benefits of that device being implanted, there's quite a few. There's the risk of infection at the implantable site. There is swelling, bleeding, or bruising. There's blood vessel damage from the ICD leads. And there's bleeding around the heart, which can be life-threatening. And there is blood leaking through the heart valve, which is regurgitation, where the ICD lead is placed. There's the possibility a collapsed lung, which is called pneumothorax. That's a collapsed lung is possible. Movement of shifting of the device or leads, which could lead to cardiac perforation, which is rare but has happened. So those are some of the things that you would want to know that are the risks according to the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic says those are the risks. You asked about the risks. Those are the risks, which begs the question, what can we do to strengthen the heart? What can we do to have a stronger heart? There's got to be some nutrition for it. We're not talking about the drugs for it. We're talking about how can we nourish that heart. So,
Dr. Bruce,
go ahead.
can that person do something and nourish that heart while still having that implant in? Because we can't take, once it's in, you can't take it out, of course, but what can you do? Would he bring it forever, or I'm not quite sure how.
Okay, so let's talk about things that you could do to nourish the heart. Again, in America, it's against the law to prevent heart disease, with natural remedies, according to them. So that really discourages anyone from even trying to talk about what can be done for the heart. However, despite the fact that supposedly the only thing you can do for a heart is use drugs or maybe surgery and a defibrillator implant. But let's look at what people do to have a healthy heart. Okay, so we're clicking on the heart report. We're over here in herbalhealthreview.com. herbalhealthreview.com. We're on this research report under common conditions, and we've clicked on the common conditions tab, and we've gone on down to H, and we clicked on heart, and we're looking at natural supplements for atrial fibrillation. And if you have atrial fibrillation, the upper chambers of your heart may beat irregularly. These beats are out of sync with the heart's lower chambers. The Mayo Clinic notes this can cause a number of health problems, including poor blood flow and heart palpitations, weakness, shortness of breath. Standard treatments for atrial fibrillation include drugs called ONT arrhythmic. And these and some doctors also recommend a treatment called O-electral cardioversion. That's O-electrical cardioversion. Both may help to restore a normal heartbeat. And that's a reference of July 22, 2011, in the Shannon Newman, and we have that reference listed here. But the atrial fibrillation is a condition in which the heart's upper chambers quiver instead of beating regularly. This arrhythmia increases the risk of stroke and heart failure and cognitive impairment and death. Many people do not experience heart palpitations, shortness of breath, or other symptoms that would bring the condition to the attention of a healthcare provider. Atrial fibrillation is the most common sustained, it's the most common a sustained arrhythmia in adults. It is a significant public health problem in the United States, where it affects more than 12 million Americans and almost 10% of the population older than 80 years old. The prevalence increases with advancing age and with worsening cardiac function. Atrial fibrillation is an independent risk factor for death and greatly increases the risk for embolic stroke. In addition, this arrhythmia can be associated with hemodynamic instability, tachycardia-induced cardiomyopathy, and systemic embolism. Despite advances in its medical management over the past 2 decades, the prognosis of a newly diagnosed patients, both in terms of heart failure development and survival, if heart failure develops, has not improved. In the last 2 decades, it hasn't improved. Digitalis treatment poses dangers. You want to see heart for the full discussion of natural options, but treatment aims to keep patients' heart rate at rest to fewer than 110 beats per minute. In those with stable function of ventricles, the heart's lower chambers, there is a heart herbal tonic of herbs that are specific heart herbs like motherwort, hawthorn berry. Hawthorn berry is used very often when there is heart congestion. And hawthorn berry is a very valuable herb. And tansy leaf will regulate the heartbeat. Tansy leaf is not something that you would normally use. It is a poison in high doses, but in a tiny amount, it regulates the heartbeat. And when you combine it with motherwort, hawthornberry, and this tiny food amount of tansy leaf and fenugreek seed, which is a heart food, and garlic, which gets rid of infection and is also another a heart food, and a little bit of cayenne pepper, which stimulates the heart to go back to work again, and and opens up and dilates all the tissues to let all of the other herbs into the cells and lets all the toxins out and all the nutrients in. So that's why a tiny amount of cayenne is there to dilate the cells. Also with hawthorn berry, hawthorn leaf is also a valuable nutrient for the heart. There's ginkgo biloba that opens up oxygen, and it brings oxygen to the head, to the and to the heart. So you're getting all this oxygen from a ginkgo leaf. It's promoting oxygen, and it's made with structured water. But that is a tincture formulation called heart support. I don't make that formula, but Health and Herbs does. I invented that formula, and they make it, and I don't get anything from it. I don't sell products. So that formula over there on betterhealthherbs.com, that formula is number 1222. That's a heart formula, a very nice heart formula, generally taking 30 to 40 drops 3 times daily is a heart tonic. So those are nutrients for the heart. Then there's a very interesting herb called bugleweed. Bugleweed at 30 to 40 drops 3 times daily. It works with cardiac arrhythmia. It's also called heart or cardiac dysrhythmia, which is a disturbance in the regular rhythm of the heartbeat. Bugleweed. Certain types of cardiac arrhythmias are life-threatening and a medical emergency, while other types of heart arrhythmias are not of any major concern. Just a little arrhythmia and it clears up, but it's not. But some forms of these arrhythmias are commonly called heart palpitations by the general population. Those who have a cardiac arrhythmia should review the herbs listed in a few paragraphs below and eliminate those that may be causing increased heart rate. Heart arrhythmia simply means that the heart rhythm is irregular, such as missing a heartbeat, or perhaps each beat does not follow the proper rhythm. Or it can also mean the rhythm is too fast or too slow. Natural or alternative cardiac arrhythmia treatment. There is very little research has been done with natural herbs or nutrients in the prevention or therapy of cardiac arrhythmia. It has been evaluated, and there's been some published research over the past years that present the nutrients and herbs that perhaps could be helpful in prevention or treatment. So we're not making any claim that these supplements are a natural cure, since more research is needed. But fish oils, fish oils are very, very important. Fish oils may reduce ventricular arrhythmia and atrial arrhythmia. Fish oils are most commonly presented as atrial fibrillation. Fish oils and omega-3 fatty acids have been studied for heart arrhythmia more than any other natural supplements. Fish oils stabilize cardiac cell membranes. Doctors who are planning to prescribe anti-arrhythmia medicines to their patients for mild cases of arrhythmia should first consider recommending their patients should eat cold water fish almost every day. and perhaps add 1 to 4 fish oil capsules to their daily supplement regimen. So consumption of tuna or other broiled or baked fish, but not fried fish or fish sandwiches, is associated with lower incidence of atrial fibrillation. Fish intake may reduce the risk of this common cardiac arrhythmia. The effects of fish oil supplementation on myocardial fatty acids in humans, the American Clinical Nutrition 2007. That's what they're saying. And the Royal Adelaide Hospital, Adelaide, Australia. That's where these studies are coming from, and they examine the kinetics of incorporation of N3 fatty acids, which the eicosapentaenoic acid (EPA) and docus hexanoic acid (DHA) into human myocardial membranes. The phospholipids, the membrane, the myocardial membrane phospholipids during that supplementation with fish oil and alpha-linolenic acid rich flaxseed oil. So they use both flaxseed oil and fish oils, and they found that they were very effective in helping. So flaxseed oil is also available. Either as by the ounce, you get 16 ounces, or you get capsules. But this flaxseed oil, if you're patients with low self-reported fish intake, fish meal maybe once a week, with no oil supplements, except for elective cardiac surgery involving a cardiopulmonary bypass, were randomly allocated to 1 to 6 groups. No supplement fish oil, no, like 6 grams EPA, DHA for either the 7, 14, or 21 days before surgery. And flaxseed oil or olive oil in the fish oil treated subjects, the accumulations of EPA and DHA in the right atrium was curvilinear with time and reached a maximum AT. It reached a maximum at approximately 30 days of treatment and displaced mainly arachidonic acid. Anyway, it gets pretty technical here. Let's get past that. But the study is for flaxseed oil. It's for these oils, for fish oils, for sea buckthorn seed oil, which is high in the omega-7s. And make sure you're taking calcium and magnesium. Then there's the amino acid called acetyl L-carnitine, which feeds the heart muscle. It feeds the heart muscle, and that acetyl L-carnitine, the amino acid. Coenzyme Q10 is going to help to oxygenate tissues and is especially helpful for people with nutritional deficiencies, when they're possibly going to have a stroke. So these are the kinds of nutrients that these people should learn about. They may be helpful. The coenzyme Q10, the acetyl L-carnitine for the heart muscle, calcium and magnesium for everything, all these oils. These are the kinds of things that can help people who have atrial fibrillation. There's red wine complex called resveratrol. That is another substance that could be helpful. Potassium with iodine, with golden seal, Oregon grape, barberry bark, turmeric. These are all plants that are high in berberine and used highly in Ayurvedic medicine. So these are the kinds of nutrients that we're looking for when we're looking for heart nutrients. So there's a lot more in this report, and even stomach acid, low stomach acid, which then you need that betaine HCl, one with each meal. And if you don't have the proper the bacteria in the stomach, all of these are playing and affecting the heart. So you want to find out about making sure that you've got plenty of friendly bacteria in the stomach, and you're taking that betaine HCl so you don't have low stomach acid. That's right, that you have enough acid to digest and break down your food. So this report is available to you. Just ask me. My email is truman@herbalhealthreview.com. TRUMAN, Truman@herbalhealthreview.com. And any of these reports or any information that you'd like to know about, email me, call me on the telephone, 503-362-5899. So that's a little bit about the heart, because we needed to get into that defibrillator. And let's get over here and take a look at mushrooms next. Do we have anybody who has a comment, a suggestion, a topic? We're moving on to the reishi mushrooms. That was one topic that people asked about. So,
Dr. Truman,
yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just have one question. Is plant-based butter part of healthy eating lifestyle?
Butter is one of the is actually good for you. Butter is actually a healthy food. So yes, butter is wonderful. It's just all the other dairy products that that are clogging things up, and we're just not meant to live on dairy products. And it's a shame what happens in the dairy industry with some of these farms with dairy cattle. There are some horror stories coming back from the treatment of these animals as well. Yes.
I don't use
Yes.
butter with any carbs. I use the butter with the meats, but don't use the butter, the fats from the meats with your carbs. That's where everybody's getting in trouble. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, next point. What Vanessa was referring to was plant-based butter or bogus butter.
Oh, okay. Well,
Butter.
well, then it's not butter. Yeah, then it's not butter. It's fake butter. They're trying to tell you this nut or this seed or this leaf or that vegetable tastes like butter, and probably don't. But good luck with it. But so plant-based butter, no.
Get real butter. Get real butter.
Yeah.
Get butter.
Yeah, and then Edward brought up a point. Don't eat it with carbs. Is that what you said, Edward?
Right. I avoid butter on my sweet potatoes. If I want carbs that day, I do it differently. Okay. Not bad. Coconut oil is good on sweet potatoes, and I love sweet potatoes, but I don't eat them when I'm eating a steak or a lamb hamburger or buffalo or anything like that. I do not want to eat any carbs because I don't want agita. I don't want all that acid reflux. I don't want all that rotten putrefaction to end up in my intestines. And I certainly don't want it fermenting before it even gets to my liver, because my liver can't process it and ends up storing it as fat as soon as you put carbs in the same stomach.
Right. And
Yes.
the point that you're
That
trying
being said, the question was about mushrooms.
Okay, okay.
Go ahead. Go
If
ahead,
I
Paul.
could just add what Edward was saying. What he's talking about is for hundreds of years, humans were hunter gatherers. Now, they didn't go out and shoot a rabbit and then carry around with them while they hit the potato patch, when they picked berries from a bush, while they grabbed a squash from the back 40 or whatever. They killed, ate it, and then they went to get something else. They typically ate one food group, one food type at a time. It was when the whole food pyramid came up, and they said, "Oh, okay, well, you gotta have 3 portions of this, 2 portions of this, 1 portion of this after." No, I don't think so. Hunter gatherer.
That came from the government. That's
Yeah.
if it comes from the government, the advice, you might want to look at it twice.
Well, as always, check with your own local health or nutrition professional before acting on any information presented to you from wherever it comes from. Okay, with that, go ahead.
There you go.
Thank you for letting me in there.
Yes. Well, I love it. We all got something we can share here, and that's wonderful. So, but the question was mushrooms, and specifically reishi mushrooms. When it comes to sticking to a healthy diet and disease fighting mushrooms, you want to check off all the boxes when it comes to mushrooms, because mushroom nutrition is low in carbohydrates, it's low in sugars, and it's low in calories, mushrooms. But they're a great source of B vitamins, trace minerals, fiber, and even protein. Mushrooms are also anti-inflammatory. They're anti-inflammatory foods, which is one reason why they have a reputation for being anti-inflammatory when there's tumors. That's part of their reputation. Mushroom nutrition contains high levels of beta glucan. These beta glucan compounds that keep immune cells alert. Plus, mushrooms have powerful antioxidants called ergothioneine. This ergothioneine that helps lower body-wide inflammation. The medicinal use of mushrooms has a very long tradition in Asian countries that dates back thousands of years. And in China, for example, certain types of historically represented a combination of spiritual potency and the essence of immortality. Although their use in Western Hemisphere only started increasing in the past several decades, numerous recent studies show that they provide an array of vital, biologically active compounds. You may wonder a few things about mushrooms and mushroom nutrition, such as what are the health benefits of mushrooms? Can I eat mushrooms every day? Which mushrooms are safe to eat? And are some mushrooms bad for you? Is mushroom a protein or a carb? Well, it isn't a carb. If it is, it has a lot of protein in it. But anyway, are mushrooms vegetarian? And anyway, these are questions that people have. So let's take a look at uh, what the science is saying and what the health practitioners are saying about the health benefits. They are saying that mushrooms fights cancer cell growth, known to be a natural cancer treatment and one of the best foods for increasing natural killer cells, the type of immune cells that seek out and destroy dangerous cancerous cells. Mushrooms are praised as powerful cancer-fighting foods. Thanks for their anti-tumor, antimicrobial, and antioxidant effects. According to recent studies, the anti-cancer compounds found in mushrooms play a crucial role in protecting against oxidative damage and killing off cancer cells and uh, cancer cells and to prevent tumor formation. Protective compounds found in these special fungi include triterpenes, phenolic compounds, polysaccharides, sterols, iritidine, chitosan. This means that mushroom nutrition can help block DNA damage and stop cells from mutating while protecting healthy cells and increasing the body's ability to detoxify itself of dangerous substances. In addition, a systemic review and meta-analysis of observational studies published in Advances in Nutrition in March 2021 found that revealed that consuming at least 2 mushrooms per day could potentially lower cancer risk by as much as 45%. The researchers concluded the association between higher mushroom consumption and lower risk of cancer, particularly breast cancer, may indicate a potential protective role for mushrooms in the diet. Mushrooms boost the immune function, according to a 2020 report published in the journal Molecules. Mushrooms contain compounds and complex substances with anti-diabetic, anti-hyperlipidemia, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, immunomodulatory, antioxidant, anti-aging, anti-cancer, antiviral, and hepatoprotective effects. That may sound like a mouthful, but
it is.
But it means that they can enhance almost every system in the body and protect you from numerous diseases, since they're associated with lowered inflammation. Sustaining high levels of inflammation long term has been shown to contribute to chronic conditions such as diabetes and cancer. Mushrooms also have the natural ability to fight dangerous bacteria and viruses. In fact, they need to have strong antibacterial and antifungal compounds just to survive in their own natural environment. This is why it's not surprising that these beneficial compounds can be isolated from many mushrooms and used to protect human cells. They are even shown to protect against deadly, multi-resistant strains of bacteria and other microorganisms responsible for a multitude of health problems. In fact, some substances present in common antibiotics given to people when they're sick, including penicillin, streptomycin, and tetracycline, are derived from mushroom fungal extracts. This is where they're getting their medicine.
What mushrooms are. A mushroom field or a mushroom patch is nothing but a humongous fungus.
Yes. And mushrooms protects the heart. Eating more mushrooms is one way to lower cholesterol levels naturally. Many types of mushrooms help lower levels of bad, which is the LDL, cholesterol, and keep arteries from hardening to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. Mushrooms have sterile compounds that interfere with the production of cholesterol in the liver. Yet, at the same time, they can raise levels of good HDL cholesterol. They also contain phytonutrients that help keep cells from sticking to blood vessel walls and forming plaque buildup, which can improve circulation and maintain normal blood pressure. And mushrooms enhances energy levels. Mushrooms are a great source of B vitamins, which help support adrenal function and turn nutrients from food into energy that your body can use. B vitamins also support neurotransmitter function to break through brain fog and prevent thyroid disorders and support a healthy metabolism. Mushrooms are absolutely incredible. They support weight management. Studies find that regularly substituting mushrooms for meat might help you lose weight since they are low calorie, nutrient dense food. In fact, eating mushrooms several times per week has been linked with increased weight loss. Reduced and less mushroom vitamins to everything from function best obtained from sun exposure. Certain kinds of mushrooms can also provide a hearty dose of this vitamin D. And exposing mushrooms to UV light, whether they're grown outdoors or indoors, under certain light fixtures, increases their concentration of vitamin D. Adding a variety of vitamin-rich foods to your diet is thought to reduce your risk of cancer and cardiovascular disease and mood disorders and bone loss. And studies show that certain kinds of mushrooms provide a good amount of vitamin D2, along with D3, which is the best kind that is best utilized by humans, is vitamin D3, and it has some D4 in it as well. But the D3 is best utilized by humans, so that's why we use vitamin D3 mainly. Now, it also mushrooms do all these incredible things. It even makes you smarter. They in chronic stress. The question is chronic stress killing your quality of life? certain types of mushrooms, especially reishi, are also considered adaptogens. They're good against stress. This means they can also help your body to deal with stress and lower cortisol. Certain mushroom species can also lower inflammation, which is thought to play a central role in the cognitive function and mood and energy levels and age-related neurodegenerative diseases. It also helps
Let's talk
strengthen
about
bones.
Let's talk about cortisol for a minute, because cortisol is
Okay.
a hormone that actually causes the body to store fat, and you the section. So, if you can control stress levels and use the adaptogenic properties of mushrooms to limit your cortisol levels, will also help you maintain a healthy weight, or obtain a healthy weight if you're a little bit on the comfy side. If you know what I mean. Right, Truman?
Yeah, yeah, I understand. A lot of people
Another
are a little bit
thing,
on
I eat
on the
I
comfy
eat
side.
I eat the mushrooms, lots of mushrooms with my meat meals, but you can also eat mushrooms with your carb meals. Am I correct? You can eat them with either one. And cooked raw mushrooms. I want to ask you something. I was told that I should cook my mushrooms, not to eat them raw. I used to just dip them into dressings and stuff and eat them raw out of the store. And we're just talking about some of the store-bought ones.
Mushrooms do not like alcohol. When you make an herbal tincture with, if you're making comfrey, or if you're making turmeric or golden seal or any herb, you're generally making it with a food grade special alcohol, not the kind of alcohol that people drink. That's not food grade alcohol, but they call it food grade. But there is alcohol that's actually a safer, better alcohol, which is what is used in the manufacture. But you don't use it with mushrooms. You have to break it down with heat. Then you need to preserve it with apple cider vinegar, and then and then you've got all of the constituents in solution, and it works perfectly. So that's how one has to manufacture mushrooms. So yes, heat does break down and release the active constituents in mushrooms. Yes. So so mushrooms, mushrooms can help strengthen bones, because some mushrooms produce vitamin D that you can then consume when you eat them. And research suggests that adding them to your diet can help strengthen bone health and protect against serious bone conditions like osteoporosis. Vitamin D, again, vitamin D, like David, is necessary for the absorption of calcium, and a deficiency in vitamin D, it can increase the risk of fractures, weakened bones, and mineralization defects as well. And one animal model in the European Journal of Nutrition demonstrated that feeding mice shiitake mushrooms enriched with vitamin D and calcium helped increase bone and mineral density and reduce the risk of osteoporosis in mice. Now, mushrooms may support reproductive health and fertility. A lot of people would, want to have a baby, And mushrooms will help to do that because thanks to their anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects, animal studies have found that these mushrooms, fungi, can help fight against age-related sexual dysfunctions. It helps with desire, arousal, and orgasm, and even pain. One study found that cordyceps mushrooms supplementation in rats helped improve sperm motility and survival rates and progressiveness. And other analysts found that some evidence that these fungi may support healthy levels of reproductive hormones such as testosterone and potentially boost a libido by increasing energy and stamina. Anyway, mushroom nutrition plus types.
No wonder I love mushrooms.
Yeah, in a mushroom, fungus, is a mushroom a fungus, a vegetable, or a meat? Well, although most people think mushrooms are vegetables, they're in fact a type of beneficial fungi. The term mushroom refers to any macrofungus with a distinctive fruity body large enough to be seen with the naked eye and picked by hand. As of now, there are more than 14,000 different mushroom species that grow around the world, and perhaps way more. They lost count. There's still a lot to learn about the many mushroom species on Earth. For example, it's estimated that there may be more than 140,000 different species in existence, which suggests that scientists only know about 10% of the possible species at this time. Species that grow around the world vary widely, ranging from small to big types, and those that come in a variety of colors: brown, tan, red, orange, all colors. Which mushroom is best for health? Some of the most common types of edible mushrooms that people are going for, they are cordyceps mushroom, reishi mushroom, chaga mushroom, turkey tail mushroom, lion's mane mushroom, maitake mushroom. It's called Himmel's mushroom, and shiitake mushroom, morel mushroom, portobello mushroom, oyster mushrooms, crimini or white button mushroom, wood ear mushroom, honey mushroom, truffle mushroom, porcini mushroom, enoki mushroom, king oyster mushrooms, and chicken of the woods mushrooms. Oh, various types of differ in terms, their exact color, their exact calorie and nutrient count. Mushroom nutrition is typically very low in carbohydrates, very low in sugar, making them a natural choice for low carb or keto diets. Calories and sodium, these are the things that they're low in. And and mushrooms, mushroom nutrition also provides an array of diverse nutrients, including antioxidants, energizing B vitamins, copper, and selenium. 1 cup of raw white button mushroom nutrition contains the following nutrients. 1 cup of white button mushrooms has 21 calories, 2 grams of carbohydrates, 3 grams of protein, 1 gram of fiber, 0.4 milligrams of riboflavin, 20% of the daily value, and 5 milligrams of niacin, which is 17% of the daily value, 4 milligrams of pantothenic acid, which is 14% of the daily value, 3.3 milligrams of copper, which is 13%, and 9 milligrams of selenium, which is 13%, 305 milligrams of potassium, which is 9%. Excuse me, and I sneezed. Wow. And 83% milligrams, and phosphorus, 8% of the daily value. Anyway, you can use them in recipes, and there's recipes here and so forth that we can share with you and send to you for mushrooms. And let's take a look at the risks and the side effects. If you buy mushrooms in supplement form, or if you're scavenge for mushrooms that grow in the wild on your own, always look for a reputable brand. And if you're scavenging, consult with a specialist who knows about wild mushrooms and is well versed in mushroom identification. Don't just go eating wild mushrooms. You can hurt yourself. You can get these amanita mushrooms, which are poisonous. An amanita mushroom can kill you, and it's poisonous. But if you know about milk thistle seed powder, milk thistle seed extract, it stops the amanita poison from getting into the liver, and you cannot be poisoned if you know about milk thistle seed, which rebuilds new liver cells and protects liver. So milk thistle seed is something you really want to also find out about. Milk thistle seed powder in your power drink, milk thistle seed tincture extract in your diet. It will protect your liver and help you to have new liver cells, according to Dr. Oz, by 60% every 120 days. Anyway, you want to, there are such mushroom types, such as psilocybin mushrooms and amanita mushrooms, and also known as psychedelic mushrooms or magic mushrooms, and that contain compounds that can cause symptoms like hallucinations and changes in perception, even when consumed in small amounts. Other mushrooms, like the death cap mushroom, can be toxic or contaminated and are not meant for human consumption. So be careful where you purchase your medicinal mushrooms. And also look for organic mushrooms whenever possible. And if you can't find these, give dirty mushrooms a good rinse or a wipe down to remove residue and bacteria and possible even insects. And keep in mind that most mushrooms contain purines that can be naturally found in some plants and are linked to health problems in some cases. Purines break down to form uric acid, which can accumulate and lead to conditions like gout and kidney stones in rare circumstances. So just be cautious. Make sure that you're not allergic to purines, and the mushrooms you're eating aren't high in purines. Conclusion about mushrooms. Why are mushrooms good for your health? Because mushroom nutrition can help reduce cancer cell growth, increase energy levels, enhance heart health, boost brain and immune function, and improve weight control. Mushroom nutrition is also very impressive, although it can vary between different stable mushroom species. There are typically a low amount of calories and fat and carbs in mushrooms. In each serving, along with a good amount of antioxidants and B vitamins and other micronutrients in mushroom nutrition. There are thousands of different species that grow all around the world, many of which scientists are still learning about, and common mushroom varieties include shiitake, morel, oyster, portobello mushrooms are some of the most common. Keep in mind that not all species are safe for consumption. Certain types can actually be poisonous and hallucinogenic mushrooms and can even cause changes in perception. Enjoy mushroom nutrition in a variety of different dishes, such as sauces, stews, soups, and side dishes, and take advantage of the unique benefits that these flavorful fungi have in nutrition. Let's take a look at a mushroom herbal tincture extract. Let's go take a look at mushrooms. I'm on my way over here, and I'm on that website, betterhealthherbs.com, where we get nothing from the sale of any product, and we're not selling products, but here is a mushroom tincture. MUSHROM. Mushroom. Okay, mushrooms. Okay. Mushrooms. Still nothing. Okay. How about mushroom? Oh, 3 times. Okay, 3-time mushroom. I never had so much trouble bringing up the mushrooms before. I can't believe it. Okay, let me look in my book. I can do this. We have to look at a mushroom formula. Where is it? Plan. Okay. I'm on my way to mushrooms. I'm almost there. Aha, it's number 1315. Okay. I'm on my way. Type in 1315 will give us, and then it has red reishi mushrooms, sugar mushrooms, and I think they also have lion's mane in it as well. And there are so many others that I'd love to add to it as well. So anyway, it's in the Immune System Plus kit, the mushroom tinctures, and the mushrooms are available under the mushroom times 4 is its name, and it's number 1315. And those are the mushrooms. Those are the mushroom times 4. That and I started it out with it's actually got, you can get it with lion's mane and turkey, also turkey mushroom can be in there as well. So you can make it with, so if you order the mushroom tincture, ask them to include all the mushrooms in it. They can add the others as well, because they're also valuable, and each one is just wonderful. So that's it. We've come to the top of the hour. It's 5 minutes before the top of the hour. I need to look around here a little bit. Does anybody have something that I missed, that I should have said, or we should have talked about? Closing prayer, and then we're going to close out the broadcast here. Yes, go ahead.
If you want to run for another 10 minutes or so, we got a late start. So we've only.
Okay, that's right. We got a late start.
Yeah, we got a late start. That I got caught.
Oh, all right. Good news, folks.
Dr. Truman?
No. That's so be it. So anybody who has a question, a topic, or a suggestion, we have more time. I'm ready. I'm looking around. I don't. I don't see. There's David and Schuster. Go ahead. Uh, uh, Open your
Yes,
mic
sir.
and
I have a,
go ahead.
oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you good.
You talked about a few weeks ago about a combination like a multivitamin that you put together. It's Truman something or other, and I guess it's got all the superfoods and things in it. Do you recall talking about that? Could you give it to me again?
Wow. Uh, oh my goodness. I don't know what that could have been. Oh, maybe the gland rejuvenator. That that's one that's got like.
No. I think it said Truman first on it, and it was like,
Oh yeah.
It's the super green foods with herbs.
Oh,
That's what.
oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, well yeah. This the super green foods. Let's go over and take a look at that.
yeah,
Because you can get it in a liquid or you get it uh, as a powder and put it uh, into things. But
okay.
what happened over here? Gabe?
You too.
Good. Okay, so we're going to look at super green. Super green. That's what we're talking about. The super green. It's got chlorella, spirulina, barley grass, wheatgrass. It's got Egyptian in there, which is called kamut,
Mm.
and Egyptian alfalfa, which is richer than any alfalfa anywhere else in the world. So it's got the Egyptian alfalfa, the American alfalfa, Egyptian wheatgrass, and which is called kamut, and in there I was number powder, number 40, get in a liquid, put that directly in your mouth, hold it in your mouth a little bit, and it is powerful, and it also uh, uh, it, so yes, there's a super green food liquid as well. So yes, but some talk about that. So let's go over and talk about fulvic acid. Now, if I recall, fulvic acid, it was over in the. Well, let's just go here to get it. Fulvic acid, FULVIC. Fulvic acid, also called humic acid, hyaluronic acid. It's got all kinds of names, and basic basically what fulvic acid is, or humic acid. Uh, uh, let's go and get a credible report where we can. It's dirt. It's what's in dirt. When you when a tree finally, you know, a 1,000 years later, that tree becomes part of the dirt around where it was once staying, and all those nutrients and everything that goes into the earth and become nutrient. It's all the key electrolytes and antivitamins. They're all trapped the in the earth. Then they mine the earth and they take out all of this fulvic acid, and then you have this incredible nutrition. Let's take a look at fulvic. This is a super nutrient. This is one that you must have in your diet because fulvic acid is able to improve how our cells use things like antioxidants and electrolytes for slowing down protective brain function. In fact, studies now show that fulvic acid has antioxidant, neuroprotective, antimicrobial, and anti-inflammatory properties. It does all these things. So what does fulvic acid do for your body exactly? Well, as an active chemical compound, it works in a way that helps us better. Replenish what is being lost in their diets and lifestyles due to modern farming techniques. The modern farming, the modern farming techniques are not friendly to the soil or to your diet. They got to change, but they're not changing because they're cheap. They're cheaper. The farming techniques are so cheap that a farmer can afford to farm. And if they don't use these techniques that damage the soil and ruin the soil, and then finally they're growing and getting nothing out of that soil, and they're putting loads and loads of all kinds of chemicals into that soil to make that whatever it is they're trying to grow. It's not working for us, folks. But if they don't do it that way, they can't have a farm. They can't compete. What's wrong with that picture? Anyway, while people used to obtain higher amounts of humic acids naturally from the soil, today they often turn to food grade supplements to boost their nutrient intake and improve gut health. Color, structure, and properties. Fulvic acid and other humic acids are yellow, brown substances found in natural materials. They contain a plethora of nutrients and active compounds that can help improve health. These compounds include trace minerals, electrolytes, fatty acids, silica, which boosts collagen synthesis, prebiotics and probiotics. They're all there in the fulvic acid. Fulvic minerals have been shown contain multiple active functional groups, including phenolic, hydroxyl, ketone, carbonyl, quinone, carbonyl, carboxyl, and alkoxyl groups. Its structure is made up of aromatic organic polymers, which many carboxyl groups that release charge that helps attract free radicals, heavy metals, and other toxins within the body. And this allows it to act like a detoxification agent. Once it becomes reactive with metals, fulvic acid helps them become more soluble in water, which means they're carried out of the body more easily. Now you're able to get rid of these heavy metals because of the fulvic acid. Fulvic acid is a yellow color, which doesn't have a very appealing taste on its own. That's why many people choose to mix powdered fulvic acid into juice or a smoothie, etc., to mask its unpleasant taste. You can add fulvic acid to liquid or take it with supplements to help supercharge their abilities to improve bioavailability. What is the pH of fulvic acid? The pH is very high. It's alkaline pH and is also super small or super fine. This helps make it more bioavailable in the body because it has a very high alkaline pH and it's very fine. Now, as a strong, it's soluble. As a strong acid, it has a pH equal to about 1. Now, where it comes from, fulvic acid, how's it produced? It's found in nature as a product of microbial metabolism processes. That means it's produced when organic plant matter decomposes. This process releases millions of beneficial bacteria. Within the environment, fulvic acid is found in not only soil and rock, but also streams, lakes, and ocean water. Humic acids form complexes found in the environment. And wait a minute here. We lost our place. There we go. And so what it's doing, humic acids forming these complexes with ions that are commonly found in the environment, creating tight humic colloids that bind, that binds, and that helps with water filtering and agricultural processes and detoxification. The presence of carboxylate and phenolates within humic acids gives them the ability to act like natural chelators, which means they form chemical complexes that are important for regulating bioavailability of metal ions like iron, calcium, magnesium, and copper within the human body and environment. Most humic acid also contains some fulvic acid, but the two are somewhat different because they have different molecular weights and sizes. Fulvic acid is much smaller than humic acid and is sometimes referred to as low molecular weight humic substances. Because they are smaller, fulvic acids can easily be absorbed by plant roots and stems and leaves. History? Well, the history for hundreds of years, an ancient remedy known as shilajit, which contains roughly 50% to 60% fulvic acid, has been used in traditional Ayurvedic medicine to treat a wide scope of health conditions, most of which can be traced back to poor digestive and immune health. While fulvic acid is yellow, shilajit is a blackish brown powder from the Himalayas and taken in supplement form and water. Historically, fulvic acid shilajit has been used as a rash remedy to help treat poison ivy and poison oak and viral infections and spider bite is based more on anecdotal evidence than clinical studies. It makes sense considering fulvic acid improves circulation and immunity while lowering pain and it improves gut health and immune function. It's helpful it boosts digestion and nutrition and absorption. It protects against cognitive health, brain health. It improves detoxification. So these are some of the benefits, and I could give you a full report on it. All you need to do is contact me. My telephone number is 503 362 5899. My email address is Truman at herbalhealthreview.com. TRUMAN at herbalhealthreview.com. You'll find that this fulvic acid also lowers free radical damage and inflammation. There's a recent post included improving for weight loss, but it is indicated and it could be helpful. It repairs the skin. Some evidence suggests that humic acids have antimicrobial properties that fight harmful bacteria. They can help protect the skin and treat wounds or irritations caused by things like eczema, bug bites, scrapes, and a study published in the Journal of Clinical Cosmetic and Investigative Dermatology found that fulvic acid supplementation significantly improved symptoms associated with eczema, even compared to other eczema treatments. So that's about it for fulvic acid, humic acid, shilajit. And if you want the full report, be sure and contact me, 503-362-5899, or Truman at herbalhealthreview.com. And I think we've probably come to the top. Have we, my dear friend Paul?
I do believe we have, and we're having a little bit.
Paul is muted.
Paul is muted.
Is it that I use the fulvic acid right under my tongue. It's a little bit bitter, but
there you go. It's not so bad. All right. We're having a closing prayer. Let's go to Proverbs 15. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise use this knowledge, all right, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. And with that, all praises to the Most High. In Jesus Christ's name, Yeshua. All praise to the Most High.
Praises,
So be it.
praises to the Most High.
So be it, brothers
Thank you
and
so much,
sisters.
Dr. Burrs.
Open up
Appreciate
the-
you.
All praise-
praises to the Most High.
all praises to the Most High.
now I know why I use
All praise to the Most High.
All praises to the Most High.
All praise to the High. Dr. Burns, love you. Thank you.
Thank you for this.
Now I know why I use all the gas.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Discoveries in Health Discussions. Check out herbalhealthreview.com. That's herbalhealthreview.com. You can also check out betterhealthherbs.com and find all the products that Doc Truman talked about. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Global Voice Network. We'll catch you right back here next time. See ya.
This program is presented for information purposes only. The statements made herein have not been evaluated by any agency and should not be considered professional, legal, or medical advice. Viewers are directed to consult their own professional sources before acting on any information presented here.